What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. We've had a lot happen last week or so since I did this show. It was on Zoom the last couple times because I didn't have a studio because I was home. But we're back in the studio. I got a special guest today, Justin. You all know him. He's been on my show before. We do shows together.
You know me. You don't like me.
I think I do like you, Justin.
Nah, it's a bad day. It's a bad day today. It's a bad day.
Justin,
it's a bad day.
You kind of already answered the how are you today?
It's a bad day today, Jake. It's a bad day. It's a bad day. I've been spending an hour trying to get graphics onto the switcher. Can't do it.
Yeah,
Can't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. But before we went live, Justin was trying to get graphics up for our other show, and wasn't going too well. But we're here, so
we are, I guess.
Whether I'm here, Justin is at least here in spirit.
I'm here in spirit. What do you mean I'm here in spirit? I'm physically here. What do you mean?
Physically here? I'm not sure if you're mentally here, but
I'm mentally here.
That's
I'm mentally
good.
here,
That's
and I'm
good.
pissed off at the Heat. So you know.
Speaking of the Heat, let's jump right in. So, Justin wants to talk about the Heat. You know, they lost to my Knicks. They blew a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter. That dropped them to 10-6. That kept the Knicks in the in-season tournament, which I could care less about. I'm just happy that they won. But apparently there were some comments made by one of the Heat players, Nikola Jovic, and which I don't even know about. I found out about this right before we went live. So Justin, I'll let you talk about what Nikola Jovic said.
Yeah, so basically, he was on like a radio show or something, and I'm not gonna go through the entire set of quotes, but essentially what he said was that he was in like the I think he played in like the FIBA tournament or something, and they won, and and that kind of boosted his confidence. But basically what he's saying is that he thinks he deserves to play.
Okay.
He thinks he deserves to play more. He doesn't understand why. He even opted to go to the G League to develop his game, and he thinks he's proven that he should play more. And he's like, and it seems like he's upset about that he wants to play more. Jovic.
Oh, God.
I'm going to keep it 100% with you, buddy. Dropping 29 in the G League is not that impressive. It's really not. It pisses me off because, okay, so he played in the Nets game, right? Because Jimmy was out, Bam was out, Hero was out, Duncan was out. They basically needed to get something for that 14-man roster,
Right.
and he had to step in. He had to play, and he does, and he was awful. He can't get a stop. And he's like, oh, the G League's putting me at the 5. It's like, what? You're 6'11". What do you expect? You can't be. You're not Kevin Durant, buddy. To where you're 6'11". To where you're 6'11", and you can play 1 through 5 because you're that good. That's what KD is. KD's 6'11". He can back down. He can guard you in the post. He can guard you down low. He can block your shots, and he can also he also has great handles and excellent shooting. He's one of the greatest players we've ever seen.
Right.
Nikola Jovic is not. Trust me, the Miami Heat issues right now are not stemming from the fact that Nikola Jovic is not playing basketball.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's not. No, it pisses me off because it's like, okay, yeah, you were drafted in the first round. Another Pat Riley Asterclass, if you ask me. Another Pat Riley
Asterclass. That's a new one.
Another
I like
Pat
that
Riley
one.
Asterclass.
I like that one. Asterclass.
So you get drafted in the first round. Gotcha. I mean, we're talking Josh Okogie level reach going on with that. And then you look like you have some kind of upside, but you can't shoot. You can't play defense. You basically don't fit in anything that's wanted in the Miami Heat organization. You don't fit Spo's coaching style, who's more defensively oriented. To where you know, because Spo is one of those guys to where he would rather win. He would rather win 96-99 than lose by 30.
Right.
You know, it's one of those things. If he can hold you to 100 points, he will. And Jovic ain't holding anybody to 100 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect these people who come overseas and play. Of course, with that stuff. And there's been a lot of good guys.
Oh, yeah.
Jovic is not one of them. He's not. Maybe he can be, but I don't care where he goes. Go ahead, dude. Get traded. What are we going to get for you? Nothing. We might get some money.
Exactly.
That'll probably
Maybe
be
a
it.
second in a couple of years. I
No,
don't
no
get
one's
much.
gonna. Yeah,
Yeah,
no one's gonna. No one's gonna trade away a pick for
he hasn't
him.
been showcased
No one's gonna
enough.
trade away a player for him. Like, stop acting as, but that's also his fault.
Yeah.
You need to step up. You need to prove yourself. Back in the, I'm going on a rant here. I'm going on a tangent. I gotta stop. I'm sorry, but I gotta finish.
Please do.
So 2 years ago, when Bam got hurt, they put in Dwayne Dedman. Okay, sucks, but whatever. Then Dwayne Dedman got hurt and Bam got hurt. Now all of a sudden, Miami put in this Turkish guy named
That's
Omer
right.
Yurtseven. And for like 20 games, he averaged like 18 and 10.
Yeah.
That's a nice stat line for a guy.
He stepped up a couple years ago.
He stepped up, he played great, and he proved why he deserved to be on that NBA roster.
Right.
Because and Jovic has not. Jovic has had his moments where he can prove it. Back when you get into those times to where you're at game like 75 and no one gives a shit anymore because they're resting all their guys for playoffs, that's when he plays. And that's where he needs to step up and play. Oh, Udonis Haslem had more points than him.
Udonis Haslem.
Really, Udonis Haslem in his last game ever had 24 points and was 100% from three. The 42-year-old guy who hadn't played a game like 5 years.
Dude's beard was gray.
Yeah, because his beard is gray. I love UD, but it was his time, and I'm glad he retired. He's now part of the Miami Heat front office, so good for him. It's like he loves it there. I'm happy for him. But anyway, Jovic, all I have to say is this: either step up or get out.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Yeah, with the comments on the radio show, that's something I feel like you don't say publicly.
No, it's not. And people are like, oh, Spo's gonna be mad. And they're like, oh, he's Spo should be mad at himself. No, he shouldn't. Spo's job should not be on the line for this.
Oh, no. He's
not even close.
His job should never be on the line.
His job should never be on the line.
He's one of the greatest coaches of all time in the history of the sport. He's
this season,
the 2 or 3 best coaches in the
league.
Like,
this season is starting off bad. I'll explain why once you're done with your comments.
But yeah, I was just saying, that's not something you don't go on a public, radio show or podcast and say that. That's something that if he truly believes he deserves more playing time, go behind closed doors, go up to Coach Spoelstra and say, I believe I deserve more playing time. You don't come out and say that to the media. You don't say that like on a public show. This is not the greatest comparison, but it's the only thing I can think of. When Brian Cashman came out and basically said, oh yeah, Giancarlo Stanton is always getting hurt. It's part of his game. It's going to happen. Look, he's right. Stanton is going to miss at least 40 or 50 games every year. But, with the Yankees at one of the biggest crossroads in a very long time, they need to bring in a lot of free agents. Stanton's agent also is Yamamoto's agent. It's just not something you say to media. That's something you might say to Stanton's agent privately, like, hey, try to have him work on this. Say it to Stanton privately, but you don't go out and say it to the media. It just, guys aren't going to
another example, Elijah Moore.
Yes,
Elijah
absolutely.
Moore to me is the perfect example of this because he cried about, I'm not getting more touches, I'm not getting a lot of touches, but it's like, you suck. You're also not that good at football.
Yeah.
It's like there's a reason why Joe Flacco is throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson and not to you. Like,
exactly.
It's because when he's in the end zone, he catches the football.
Yeah. But yeah, that I mean, and a guy like Jovic, obviously he gets a little bit of attention just because his name is basically Nikola Jokic, who of course is the league's best player except for one letter. He hasn't, gotten a lot of playing time since he got to Miami last year. In the Summer League last year, I like what I saw, but it's also the Summer League he's playing against, guys like him who are, rookies, really young players, unproven, aren't that great. So
primarily undrafted guys because they're trying to or guys who are on a 10-day trying to get a standard 1-year contract. Like, that's mainly what the Summer League and preseason are for nowadays. Yeah. That's what the preseason is for every sport now. It's basically for the young guys to not get cut.
Right.
Um,
So yeah, he's playing against playing against the guys who are our best, probably fringe roster guys
yeah,
for the
fringe
most
roster
part.
guys. But yeah,
Yeah.
Jovic, I'd like to see you do well, but also shut the fuck up, please. I'm just like, you can't be saying that when you're not doing well.
Exactly.
Like, it's not like you're one of those players to where, like, even if he was really good, it wouldn't be allowed, but at least there'd be some kind of argument.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if Prime Curry, if Prime Steph was benched for no reason, and he goes up to the media and's like, well, yeah, I think I deserve more playtime. Well, yeah, no shit. You deserve more playtime. You're a 2-time MVP and you're a 3-time champion at the, in
Yeah.
your prime. So, maybe, maybe you should get more playtime. Jovic, who is a 0-time All-Star, 0-time Rookie of the Year, 0-time All NBA, All Defense, All Rookie, 0-time, 0-time anything, actually. Doesn't deserve to say that
No.
just yet. Also, especially considering it's only your second year in the NBA.
Right.
Like, grow up a little bit. I mean, look at what Jaime Jaquez Jr. is doing. He was drafted 18th overall, so probably like 6 picks less, maybe 6 picks higher than you were, and he's top 5 in scoring in rookies.
Mhm.
So maybe Jovic, it's just you.
So that's Nikola Jovic. So before we have a lot of football to talk about, but first we're going to talk about some wrestling. So Survivor Series was this past weekend. Was a major success if you ask me. You had, as you see, Justin is starting to pop because in very short we will get to why Justin is doing that and why he's smiling and is very happy right now. So we had a lot of good matches. You had the Women's Survivor Series match. Charlotte and all them won. Gunther, he defended his Intercontinental title against The Miz. We had Santos Escobar beat Dragon Lee. Of course, he stepped in last minute about SmackDown last week instead of Carlito. And then you had the men's 5-on-5 Survivor Series War Games match, which was of course Judgment Day plus Drew McIntyre, and then Team Cody Rhodes, which was Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and for a while it was just those four. The returning Randy Orton at first didn't show up. Late in the match he was supposed to come in. He didn't. We were like, oh, they're screwed. And Damian Priest brought out Rhea Ripley, was about to catch the Money in the Bank, and then you hear voices hit, and then Randy Orton comes out, and he helps his team win the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. It was cool to see him reunite with Cody Rhodes, of course, way back in the day, in Cody's first stint that they were in Alliance. Then, of course, they kind of went separate ways. Cody went to AEW, now he's back. But then, as they were going off the air, you hear, all of a sudden, you hear, and CM Punk, for the first time in a decade, is back in WWE. There has been rumors for a while that he was returning, because Survivor Series was in Chicago, where he's from. Of course, he got let go at AEW. There's been rumors that they were looking at him, and he's back. Justin, so as you know, Justin is really good at just making obscure sports predictions and just predictions in general. He'll predict his Ram stuff too, but mainly sports predictions. He's very good at it. I don't know how he does it, but he does. He said back in like August that CM Punk was going to return to WWE, and then I'm watching Survivor Series. They're about to go off the air. Like Randy Orton and all them are hugging, and all of a sudden I hear, "Look in my eyes." I'm like, oh, so he's back. So Justin, you called it.
It's just because you said no. That's why. It's because you said he's not coming back, Justin. He's not coming back. And I gave you my classic, I flexed the eyebrows a little bit, I hit one of these,
That's the classic.
and I'm
Justin.
like, and you're like, if you call CM Punk coming back, I'm like, it's coming back. He's like, I don't think it's happening. I said it's happening, and he's like, and you're like, and then. You're talking about coming to Chicago and CM Punk with that. And I said, Chicago starts with the C, starts with the C, CM Punk. And he comes back. And I'm like, and I remember one of our roommates, because when I came back yesterday, he's like, Justin, you fucking called it. I'm like, yeah, I know. I called CM Punk. I know you have your own opinion on this. I have mine.
Right.
And my opinion is, I mean, look, back in the day, I did like me some CM Punk.
Mhm.
I did enjoy him. I think he was fun to watch.
Mhm.
I think he's very good on the mic.
Yes.
That being said, he is calling him a dick is an understatement. Um, Here's how it's going to work for him, if you ask me. If he does well, great. He'll stay there till he retires,
Mhm.
and then he'll call it a day.
Right.
If he screws up, he will not only get fired,
Mhm.
probably never get a wrestling gig
Probably.
again, but this is truly, there's Triple H has done a lot of great things.
Mhm.
This is the one time to where you can really look at Triple H and see if this was the right decision or
Oh, yeah.
not. Triple H, if this works, he's gonna look like a genius.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't, he's gonna look like an idiot. He's gonna be
Absolutely.
clowned on for it.
Mhm.
It'll happen. Forever. People are not going to compare him to Vince level bad, of
Mhm.
course, because it really can't. It really could not get any
No.
worse than 2020, 2015 Vince McMahon till now, till he left or till he just basically stepped down or
Mhm.
whatever the hell happened.
Yeah.
He's still fine though. He's making a nice amount of
Yeah.
money. He'll be all right.
He's all right. He'll be
We
all
don't need to
right.
throw a block party for him.
He's all right.
But WW but like if Triple H does if he does this is the bad idea, Triple H will not be looked at it very
No.
nicely. That's the best way I can say it.
Yeah. So look, I've been on the record saying I don't like him, and I still don't. I think people say like, "Oh, he's one of the best in the world." I don't think so. I think he's a good wrestler. I don't think he's a great wrestler. He's never people put him up there as like that, like he can put people over like a John Cena or The Rock can, and he's not that level of
Oh no,
wrestler.
he's never going to, but those are also two guys to where you just can't touch them.
Right, but problem is people put him on a pedestal like those guys, and I don't know why, because he's not. But like he said, he is phenomenal on the mic. He's always been great with the promos. I mean, his pipe bomb in what 2011 or 2013 is legendary. He's had a lot of very comical like imitations of people, and he can definitely spit it on the mic. He's very good, and he helps ratings wherever he goes because he's a larger than life guy. He certainly is. But everywhere he's been a locker room cancer. That's what got him canned in WWE. That's what got him canned in AEW, and kind of got him canned in UFC. But got him canned in UFC mainly was because he just sucked at it, and he's not a UFC fighter. He's a WWE. He's a wrestler. To the point where Dana White, the president of UFC, came out and just said yeah, after he lost a couple of fights, this is like, yeah, I think you should stop doing this. You're not good. But yeah, so that's what's lost him his job twice and technically three times. So
Yeah, so one thing about that, so I was out to dinner, so I did
mm,
not get to watch Survivor Series,
uh-huh.
unfortunately.
I did
But
I had to watch it the next day because I was
there's
in
one thing I
Jersey.
heard. So I heard something about Seth Rollins
Mhm,
needed to be held back.
mhm.
Now that's what I need to wonder. Was that not in the script? Or was that something he was supposed to do?
So supposedly it is a work. That being said, Seth Rollins does not like CM Punk. There's a lot of guys that don't like CM Punk. Rollins is probably at the top of the list. He doesn't like him at all. He never has. And so he did have to be held back. And from what I've heard, it's a work, and I think it is. I know he at like a house show or like a live show. He was at it, and he did talk about it. I didn't catch his comments, but I know one thing he said was that he doesn't want to waste his breath on this, so he did talk about it. And it looks like that's the few that we're getting. I'm not sure what time you guys are seeing this on YouTube, but Raw's at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. It's 4:15 on Monday. Shows obviously at 8 o'clock. Hopefully you guys are seeing this before then, depending on how long it takes me to edit this thing together. So, but I think it's a work, but he also does not like CM Punk.
Yeah. So hear me out on this.
Okay.
Hear me out on this. So WWE, what I love about is, of course, the
Mhm.
storytelling and of how. But the one thing about them is that they actually are very, very unpredictable
Yes.
for what they do. Every story is kept, close, and
Mhm.
there's not really you can predict some things, but
Mhm.
there's nothing that's but a lot of things are very surprising,
Right.
especially how the way matches end
Mhm.
or who comes back. Those are all big, big deals in WWE, and the fact they've been doing that for over 50 years has been very impressive.
Mhm.
So, but WWE has this thing to where they basically whatever you think is going to happen now might not happen when it comes down to it. So it's like, for example, like people might think right now that it's going to be LA Knight and Roman Reigns, for example, fighting for the Universal Championship at the main event of WrestleMania.
Mhm.
Anything can change
Right.
from November to May.
Mhm.
Like a lot of things can change in
Oh, yeah.
WWE. That's how much the story changes.
Mhm.
So, trust my process.
Oh, boy.
For somehow, because of what it means, and because of how it works in this world, WWE over the next 6 months will somehow change the story, somehow build up new storylines, break down old ones, close out old ones. Royal Rumble will pass by, the Elimination Chamber will pass by, and last but not least will be WrestleMania, and the WWE main event is going to be between Roman Reigns and CM Punk.
Ooh. I think it's possible. It's probably more likely that he faces Rollins, but Justin also just gave me the eyebrows, and he's very good at this.
All
So
I'm saying is this: I have never been wrong on a WWE prediction because I also called Pat McAfee coming back for Royal Rumble.
you did. You are. I will say you are like as spot on as it gets when it comes to wrestling predictions.
I'm like,
Like just
it's
obscure
Pat.
wrestling
I'm like,
predictions.
here comes Pat McAfee, and then like no one knows who's coming out to just come back to the desk, and there's Pat McAfee. I'm like, oh my god.
It's not even like oh yeah, this guy was the winner of this match. It's like the most obscure stuff. Like oh yeah, this guy is going to return in during this match, and then it just happens. Like you predicted Pat McAfee was going to return for the one pay per view, and he just does.
And then he never comes back for any other pay per views
Yeah,
outside of WrestleMania, to where he like fights the Miz. I think.
I know.
Yeah,
I
he
know.
fought the Miz, and then Snoop Dogg fought him.
That's right.
Then Snoop Dogg.
Oh yeah. Well, Shane McMahon came out, and then he
Oh
actually
yeah,
got hurt.
Shane McMahon. Yeah,
He
Shane
got
McMahon
injured.
literally got hurt. I couldn't believe
He
it.
got hurt. And that was that wasn't even that like not staged. And
Yeah.
then Snoop Dogg. I remember thinking Snoop Dogg was like, "Oh, this is supposed. Wait, that's not what they told me backstage." He
Yep.
stepped in.
Nope.
Maybe he was going to do it eventually, but he was like, "Yeah, let's do this now." So
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, have to improvise.
exactly.
Have to improvise. But yeah, welcome back, CM Punk. Things should get very
Oh yeah.
interesting. So, what is he going to be on? Is he going to be on the Raw roster? He's going to be on the SmackDown
Well,
roster.
he's tonight. Well, Raw starts in less than 4 hours, depending on what time you guys are saying. Is he's going to
I
be
will
on?
be there no matter what.
He's going to be on Raw tonight.
Okay, well that makes sense because he just came back.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's his permanent
Dude,
home.
I swear to God, Cody Rhodes is gonna go up there and he's gonna like everybody's gonna know that CM Punk's there. He's gonna be like, so what do you guys want to talk about? Now, for some like dumb reason today, it's gonna be like I'm telling you right now. For some weird reason, there's gonna be a fight today, or a fight between like CM Punk or an LA Knight coming up. Trust me on this.
That would be crazy.
At some point, two people, two very big egos, two people who kind of have like that rock star mentality. I think they fight each other eventually. I'll give it 3 weeks. I'll give it 3 weeks.
Oh my god! If in 3 weeks' time, if CM Punk and LA Knight fight, that will result in an impromptu podcast.
An impromptu podcast. It's gonna be 15 minutes. What are you gonna do? 15 minutes? Okay.
Just about Justin predicting that
Yep.
impromptu podcast.
Yep.
But yeah, that's Survivor Series. Now let's talk about some college football.
All
So
I'm gonna say is this: I've also never been wrong in college football and college sports either, because
Sure.
there was the one of me saying that Stanford's gonna be Colorado, and then
right.
I had I know I don't. I know you don't like it, Jake, but I did predict Oral Roberts beating Ohio State back in the day.
You did in the college basketball tournament.
Back in the day,
That was absolutely incredible. That was freshman year. That was 3 years ago.
that was like the first time. Also, I did that.
I
I'm like, yeah,
know.
Oral Roberts gonna win.
I still can't believe he did that.
I couldn't either. But yeah. So, what do you want to talk about first on this list today of people?
So it was the last week of the regular season for college football. This upcoming week, it's all the conference championships, and then of course, the college football playoff will be finalized. So we had a lot of like rivalry games like
Yeah,
Oregon
it's rival.
State,
It was
yeah,
rivalry week this week.
Georgia Tech. So like all the rivalries were out. Penn State, Michigan State, except Penn State won 4-2. Don't think it's Michigan State's a dumpster fire. But we also had Michigan against Ohio State.
It's a good game. It's a great
It was a
game.
great game. Michigan wins 30-24, even down Jim Harbaugh. So there have been a lot of people who have been saying Ryan Day should be axed at Ohio State. He's 56-7 there. He's also 1-6 against top 5 teams, and he has not beat Michigan 3 years in a row. And they have to beat Michigan if they want to win a national championship, which is the standard at Ohio State. So, what do you think?
Oh, I agree. I think he should be axed. So last year I said that Michigan was going to win it all. I was wrong, but I also thought Ohio State should have been in that conversation as well, because but the problem is I don't understand how you have C.J. Stroud and you have Marvin Harrison Jr. on the same team, and you don't get it done.
Exactly.
Like, he's had a lot of talent
Oh, yeah.
in his tenure so far. I mean, he's had Fields at one point, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
He's had, wasn't JSN there at one point? Yeah. Chris Olave, who's out for a concussion. Now just CJ Stroud most recently, and now Marvin Harrison Jr., who's probably going to be picked number 1 overall, and if he's not picked number 1 overall, he's a top 5 pick. No matter what way you slice it, he's going to be one of the biggest. He's going to be one of the number 1 guys to go, and he's the number 1 wide receiver to go, and it's not even close. I just don't know how you don't get it done if you're Ryan Day. I think he's been fine, but you also need to ask yourself, it's like, do you really need to coach that team?
Exactly.
I mean, that team's been so good. I also don't love what I've seen out of Kyle McCord.
Yeah,
he's okay. I mean, it's about time they don't get a star quarterback there. They have to strike at it eventually. Same thing with Alabama. About time you don't get a star quarterback. They'll find one eventually. Maybe General Booty's the guy.
General Booty's gonna transfer to Ohio State.
General Booty's gonna transfer to Ohio State. Sure, maybe they'll wait for Baby Gronk to turn 18.
Baby Gronk.
And he'll play quarterback. But yeah, I just think it's time for Ryan Day to go because. Yeah, like when you look at his record, great record, but also you need to really, when are you going to take that extra step?
Exactly.
When are you going to beat Michigan? I mean, the starting quarterback for Michigan is J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
And I don't dislike McCarthy as much as other people do.
He's played a lot better this year.
He's played better this year, but I also don't think he's that good still. No. He might end up being a serviceable backup in the NFL. But I just don't, but you have to get it done there. Exactly. You just have to.
And Michigan didn't have Jim Harbaugh, who's a great coach. You had all due respect to Shamar Moore, whatever his name is, their interim coach, who was able to go 3-0 without Jim Harbaugh.
That's impressive.
He almost lost to Maryland, but that's another story.
But still, I mean, he's in a big time conference, in a Power 5 conference, and it's good. It's a good look.
Like, to me, this was the year. I mean, I know he didn't have the quarterback, really, but McCord's he's kind of just okay, but you got Marvin Harrison. Look, Michigan's a great team. Blake Corum's one of the best running backs in the country. Their defense is phenomenal, but without Harbaugh, the week prior they kept it. Narrowed, only lost like a touchdown to them. This was the week for them. To me, there was blood in the water, I guess you could say. And he didn't get it done. Now it's just 3 years in a row, and they have to beat Michigan, and he hasn't shown that he can do it the last 3 years. So at some point, you just gotta, they're all firing him now, and fixing it now before you wait 2 or 3 years and you haven't been and now it's all of a sudden like when Ohio State won like 7, 8 years ago to a couple years ago, now all of a sudden thing is reversed. Like, oh wait, maybe we should fire Ryan Day. You should do it now, fix it now, because it's only gonna get worse.
Absolutely. Look, not really much to say about that. The only thing I find is a little bit questionable is the AP rankings. I'm not sure. So a a third ranked team beat a second ranked team. So Michigan goes up to 2. Okay. But then Ohio State drops to 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I don't agree with.
Yeah, we'll see what happens
Like I feel
when
like
the
it
cuts
just
of the playoff
I
stuff
feel
comes
like it
out.
just should have flipped. If you ask me, I just think it just should have flipped. I think Ohio State should have been 3rd, Michigan 2nd. I think that's how it should have went.
Oh, so you're saying just Ohio State shouldn't have dropped as low?
Should have just dropped 1.
That's fair. The we'll see what happens when the college football playoff rankings come out. They come out every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time. So maybe they'll put Ohio State a little bit higher, and those are the ones that matter. But yeah, you can make the argument they shouldn't have been as low. I mean, it's tough because now they have one loss, and the 4th ranked team, Washington, snuck past Washington State. So like the 4, 5, and the 4 and 5 teams won. So I guess they're like, all right, they have better record. So, but the college football playoff ranking is what we're looking at Tuesday night. So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, Washington snuck past Washington State 24-21. The game-winning field goal. Yeah, the Florida State beats Florida. They didn't have their quarterback because Jordan Travis got hurt last week. He broke his leg, but they beat Florida 24-15.
No, that's gonna be bad later on because if they get in the college football playoff, that's not gonna be good for them.
Yeah,
Jordan Travis, he's been really good for them too.
Some people thought the Florida might have a shot to win. It was close. Florida was up 12-7 at the half.
They were.
Florida was able to pull it out, mainly because Florida is just terrible.
He's just not good at football.
They're not the same Florida Gators that won national championship.
So I heard that Dan Mullen isn't going to Syracuse. So Sacred Heart,
maybe
chance, an opportunity, chance, no.
But number 8 Alabama shocked Auburn, beat them 27-24 on the Iron Bowl. He had 4th and goal from a 31-yard line. Jalen Miller throws a game-winning touchdown after he had an illegal forward pass that backed him up. And all of a sudden, if they beat Georgia this week, which I don't think they're going to do, but if they do, they'll be in the college football playoff almost definitely. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, Kentucky over Louisville in a bit of an upset. And then Georgia beat Georgia Tech 31-23 in a close-ish game.
I mean, all right.
Not surprised.
I guess the one thing is this. Here's my little take on Georgia right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're winning the championship this
year.
Really? I don't. They had a really easy strength of schedule. You're going up against UAB. Like, I'm not like you're going against UAB, Georgia Tech. Like, you're not going up against these super, super, like, overly elite football programs. Like you're saying, it's not like the Big Ten to where you're guaranteed to play Michigan or Ohio State once a year.
Right.
Like if you do that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know. If you ask me, I think if Marvin Harrison Jr. was healthy last year, I think Ohio State goes to the championship.
They might have beaten them.
They might have beaten them. I think they win the national championship. Mm-hmm. I didn't think TCU was winning a natty that year.
No. Whoever won that game was crowning whoever was going to win the national championship.
Yeah.
And even if Michigan won, I still think Georgia or Ohio State would have won, probably.
Yeah, I still would have thought that.
Especially Georgia.
I still would have thought that as well. I just don't know. Like, if you can pull up Georgia's schedule, you could tell me who they've played as of recently, because I don't get the SEC. But I'm just telling you that
they haven't played.
It hasn't been that impressive.
Yeah, my one thing with Georgia, I just don't know if it's a team that could truly beat them. So this is their got it. UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina, UAB,
Mm-hmm.
Auburn, Kentucky, who was ranked throughout the year, but they were ranked 20th at the time. Right now they're unranked, but they did beat the 10th best team in the country, Louisville, so they might jump back in the rankings. Vanderbilt, Florida, Missouri, who at the time was ranked 12th, I think was ranked 9th, and they won. Ole Miss at the time was ranked 9th, now they're like 12th or something like that. Tennessee, at the time was ranked 18th, they're still right around there. and then Georgia Tech, and they play Alabama this week.
Yeah, so you basically beat a bunch of mid-level teams in the
Mhm.
rankings or unranked teams right now. Like if you really like the only ones that really pop out to me that they beat are Louisville, and there was one earlier
Well,
than.
they didn't play Louisville. I know they
Oh, I
played
thought you said Louisville.
Kentucky maybe.
Yeah, Kentucky. Who else was there?
Missouri at the time was ranked 12th, now they're
No, that
9th.
doesn't impress me either.
Right, and
Tennessee doesn't impress me either. If this was Hendon Hookers, I would have been
mhm.
really impressed, but it's not.
And then Ole Miss, it's the
Ole
only
Miss, I'm not that
truly
impressed
team
at.
that
What are
team
the
that's
other
ranked
ones
right.
there? So I see. Can I just turn around to it? So UT Martin doesn't impress me. Ball State's the
Right.
MAC. I love the MAC. Doesn't impress me. The Gamecocks don't impress me. UAB once again, whatever. It's Auburn. It's pretty much to me Auburn, Kentucky, and Ole Miss that kind of stand out the most.
Mhm.
Mainly Auburn, but you see Auburn, they only won by a touchdown.
Yeah,
Like
they
notice
played
when
a
you're
lot
playing
closer games this year.
teams. Like notice when they're playing teams that can actually be a threat to them, they don't win as they're not as heavily dominant.
Mhm.
Like Auburn is that team. I like like you're saying, I think Ohio State could size up against them if Ryan
Mhm.
Day remembers what a football is. I think Michigan can size up to them.
Mhm.
I think Washington can size up to them.
Yes.
Because I see it right here. Whenever there's a team that's actually a legitimate threat to them, that actually, or should I say, knows how to play football, or a school that's known for their football program, they don't play as well because there are teams that can actually. Because I think this is a mortal team. Really,
Mhm.
yeah, they might have a perfect season. I mean, yeah, okay, sure, they'll beat Alabama, but so what? Alabama's not as good this year.
No.
Like Alabama is like you're saying, Alabama is one of the greatest college football programs ever.
Right.
No one will doubt that. But it's a new era.
Mhm.
Georgia is now the powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Georgia's the ceiling, and probably Sacred Heart is the floor. But yeah, but I mean it's okay. But I just think Georgia hasn't faced true competition just yet, and here it comes. And here it comes against Washington, 42-36 in a double overtime victory for Washington.
Ooh, I like it. But yeah, they did play a. If you predict the exact score of the game, that's crazy. But yeah, they played a lot of much closer games. Like Auburn, who was kind of mediocre, the only one by a touchdown. They were close against South Carolina. Yeah, they were close against Missouri. Though Missouri was actually pretty good this year. They were close against Georgia Tech, which is a rivalry game, so that was a big game. So those games were close.
Yeah, but like outside of maybe Auburn, none of the teams they played are good enough to reach a college football playoff.
Yeah, no.
Like Ball State isn't reaching a college football playoff.
But yeah, so I'm not sure if someone can beat them. They've also a lot of times they've come out a little slow. Like maybe they were only up like a field goal or two, or there was tie, or even they were a couple times they were losing at the half, and then they pulled away in the second half. They've been a second half team, so if against the competition that they've played, they've been able to do that. But you never know. Maybe if they play a team like Washington or Ohio State or something that doesn't take their foot off the gas, could they be in trouble? But we shall see what happens with that.
Yeah. By the way, just one real quick thing. I think there might have been a third thing I predicted for college football. Just hear me out here. What's the record of Colorado this year?
4-8.
And what did I and how did I say they were going to perform this year?
Not well.
I said not well. I said not that good.
You were
Yeah,
right.
Jake, is 4-8 a good record?
No.
No, it's not. No, it is not. It's just too easy.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it didn't work. I'm so glad it's not working. I really am.
I mean, their team is terrible. That offensive line is brutal. Their defense is not good.
yeah, but it's all your guys, Dion. It's all your guys
Yeah,
from Jackson State who
didn't.
I mean, you told
It
the
didn't
old
work.
guys from Colorado
Yeah, they did
to
not.
transfer now,
Yeah,
and you're going 4-8.
After a good start, they did not play well. I mean, I'm not that surprised. I mean, they won one game last year, and then now they win 4. I mean, I thought they'd be like 6-6 or something. So 4-8. I mean, obviously the game against Stanford, the last one, they let that one get away. But yeah, wasn't year one was not quite as thrilling as we thought it was going to be.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah. So, and then a couple other games. Oregon beat Oregon State 31-7. And Oregon State's coach is left. Jonathan Smith goes to Michigan State.
Yep.
And then Texas beat Texas Tech 57-7. Those
Oh,
those
okay.
those are the major rivalry games.
Yeah, because too bad Patrick Mahomes isn't there anymore. So
Exactly. All right, so NFL. This week was week 12.
Mm-hmm.
So did anything stand out to you?
That I won by 82 in fantasy.
That's right, you beat Ashton.
That's what stood out to me. But yeah, I mean,
The Thanksgiving games, we had a couple blowouts.
the Thanksgiving game the Giants-Lions game was weird. That was a weird game.
Packers-Lions game, yeah, was kind of odd.
I'm sorry, Packers-Lions. Excuse me. I said Giants-Lions. That's even worse. But yeah, no, Packers-Lions was weird. Jordan Love had a good game. He did.
He played really well.
He played well. If he can do that more, maybe people will stop saying he sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe if he could do that, for another couple of weeks, maybe people will say, hey, maybe this kid's pretty good. But Jared Goff played bad.
3 fumbles.
That's horrible.
Not good.
That's not good at all. I'm not sure what happened, but I mean, the Lions are still in a great spot, so it's not that big of a deal. But look, the other games just really weren't that surprising either.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect the Commanders to beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, they suck.
As much. It's not that I didn't want it to happen.
Right, exactly.
I wanted the Commanders
That
to
would
beat the
have
Cowboys.
been really funny, but I just
But
did.
the Cowboys, but they're not that good. So, but that's okay. And then Niners, Seahawks. I mean, once again, come on. Like, I find Geno to be overrated on that team. He still is overrated, and he proves exactly why the Jets should not have started him. I don't want to talk about the Black Friday game, Jake. We're not going to talk about the Black Friday game. There's no need to talk. There's no need to talk about it. There's no need to talk about it. It's okay. But just simply put it, Jets are bad. Tank, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. 2 is also not that good. Blah blah blah. So I don't know. It's like Sunday. Sunday was interesting. I watched Texans Jaguars yesterday because we both Sunday ticket house. Great, but I actually think 2 things about CJ Stroud. Number 1, I don't think anyone else deserves offensive rookie of the year more than he does. It's him. And number 2, I think he should be in the conversation for MVP.
I think he absolutely should be as well.
It should happen.
It's got to be.
And dare I say, I think there's a chance he wins it.
He's got a shot
because I don't know. It's like he's completely turned that team around.
Oh yeah.
I have never seen that feel because they were playing in Houston. I don't remember the name of the stadium they're in, but I haven't seen that stadium. I haven't heard that stadium get that loud in a very long time. I mean, when you're probably dealing with like Davis Mills and stuff, it's probably it. But you're looking at somebody who can be your new franchise guy at a point where you thought when Deshaun Watson wanted out, you were probably never going to get that again. Right. And they really struck oil on this one. They have even if they don't make a playoffs this year, they have a really nice core to start off with on that team. You have a great, and I mean great quarterback in CJ Stroud. You have a great wide receiver in Tank Dell, great wide receiver in Nico Collins. You have a great tight end in Dalton Schultz. You even have some solid running backs in Dameon Pierce, Devin Singletary. Like, your offense is there, and then you have a pretty solid defense that's kind of built with, Derek Stingley, who I liked coming out of college, and Will Anderson, who's been looking pretty good. But all they need to do, I think, is build up that defense, and then I think you have a team that can go very far.
Absolutely.
And then D'Amico Ryans has also been really impressive. He might win Coach of the Year.
He might. If they make the playoffs, I think you might have to give it to him.
I think you might have to.
Yeah, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, we're going to the other side of things when it comes to success. Panthers lose 17-10 to the Titans. Bryce Young was like 18 of 30 something for 194 yards. And their owner, Dave Tepper, storms out of the locker room, screams F, and he didn't say F, and then a couple days later, he fires his head coach, Frank Reich. And the quarterbacks coach, Josh McCown, also got fired, as well as Deuce Staley, who was the assistant head coach and the running backs coach. So, Dave Tepper cleaning the house. Is this the right move?
No. I don't think it's the right-ish move. Uh, I mean, they haven't built a lot around
No.
Frank Reich to work with.
Right.
I'm not really. I think it was a little bit of a. I feel like if anything, I think the owner is more upset at himself
He should be.
because Frank Reich wasn't the one who drafted Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you redo that draft, C.J. Stroud's going to Carolina.
Yeah.
He's going to Carolina. It's not even close. It is unquestionable.
Yeah.
Without
he
a
messed
doubt.
up.
He made that mistake.
He made a mistake.
He made a mistake. It's his fault. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of DJ Shark. I'm not afraid of a 35-year-old Adam Thielen. Like, come on. I'm not afraid of a 29-year-old Miles Sanders.
He's been awful.
It's
He's
a bunch.
Really
It's a bunch of oldies and Bryce Young. That's what it is. It's basically the 2012 Nets. Wash KG, wash Paul Pierce, and then it's just two guys, and it's just a bunch of people, sitting outside of the stadium with a couple of beers, going back on the good old days. Adam Thielen sitting next to Miles Sanders and being like, remember when Case Keenum threw that ball to Stephon Diggs? God, that was crazy. Yeah. It's like, what are you gonna, like, I think the owner has only himself to blame.
Yeah.
I think they could have given Frank Reich one more year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. But if he thinks that the coaching change is going to fix anything,
Exactly.
It's not. There's way more involved in that. Am I going to say Bryce Young is a bust? Not yet. Because that's not fair.
Right.
Because he also was not put in the best situation himself. It's like if we weren't going to call Zach Wilson a bust year one, we're not calling Bryce Young a bust year one. But right now, he hasn't done a lot of things that have been impressive at all.
No. This is what I think happened. Look, I didn't love what Reich has been doing, and there's been some rumblings that he's on the hot seat and that, he could be fired after the season. Apparently Temple was thinking about it. So Frank Reich wanted CJ Stroud. The owner wanted Bryce Young. The owner basically told Reich to go F himself and said, I'm drafting Bryce Young, which was a mistake. So he didn't draft the quarterback that his head coach, who one, played quarterback in the NFL, two, has a pretty solid track record as a head coach and as a play caller, wanted, and drafted the guy that he wanted, which was a complete mistake. And again, like you said, I'm not calling Bryce Young a bust yet. Have what I've seen, is it promising? Absolutely not. Is his career over? No. Like you said, it's not fair. He hasn't had a lot to work with. He's still really young. He's only played 9 career games, whatever it's been. So, but Stroud is a stud. He made a mistake. He messed up. So, and people have been talking about that. And I think partly to kind of protect his own ass, he said, "Oh, Frank Reich, you."
Yeah, especially because Stroud has arguably done more with less. CJ Stroud doesn't have the experienced head coach. Bryce Young does. CJ Stroud
He's got
doesn't
better
have
weapons.
but CJ Stroud doesn't have veteran weapons.
Right.
Bryce Young does.
They're very young, yeah.
Yeah, they have young guys. He has guys to where all of them collectively need to learn how to play in the NFL, and they're winning. Right. Like Adam Thielen knows how to play in the NFL. Adam Thielen is a veteran wide receiver.
He's still pretty good.
And he still is pretty good. A lot of those guys on that Panthers team are veteran guys who have played in the NFL before and who have lasted, some of which probably shouldn't, but they have nonetheless. Miles Sanders went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. He ran for like 1,200 yards last year.
Yeah, he ran for
behind the best offensive line in the league, but still.
Yeah. Bryce Young has had more to work with in that sense, where he could go up to these guys and just, learn from them a little bit. Yeah. He can afford to do that. But it's like the QB carousel has been horrendous for the Panthers so far, and people thought that it was going to end with Bryce Young. Like that was where it's going to stop. It'd be like, okay, we can have this guy for another 16 years. But it's not looking like it at all right now.
Yeah.
And I think what's even worse is that they lost their number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, they basically trade DJ Moore in the first, probably the first pick in this draft for Bryce.
You basically traded for more. You basically got. So the way I see it is this, and this is only if the Bears make the right decision on draft day. the Panthers basically got Bryce Young for DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Because
Nice
I
guy.
don't think because I think what the Bears do this year is I think they look at Justin Fields and they say, we're drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. here. Did he play with Marvin Harrison? Did he play with him? Or was that a little past?
He might have just missed him.
All right, either way, but still, it's like, okay, this is Marvin Harrison. He's just going to happen. They're going to send in Justin Fields. They're going to hold up a picture of Marvin Harrison Jr. and be like, this is Marvin Harrison Jr. This is the guy you're going to throw the football to. He will be wide receiver 1, DJ Moore wide receiver 2, and Chase Claypool will be your water boy.
Bring him back as the water boy.
You know, you'll get Cole Kmet will be your third option.
Right.
Throw the fucking ball. That's what I think it's going to be. It's going to be like, this is your last chance for Justin Fields. It's going to be with Marvin Harrison Jr. And if he can't even win 7 games with it, I think that's when they're going to start looking for a new quarterback. Trust me on this.
Yeah.
Well, that's my rant on the Panthers.
But yeah, like, and Scott Fitter I think the GM is more to blame. Like, this guy Dave Tepper, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's made 4 coaching changes in 5 years. He screwed up a number 1 pick. You know that front office, they threw $25 million at Miles Sanders. They said Adam Thielen and DJ Shark and Hayden Hurst. You know, with no O-line and not really any defense besides Brian Burns, and said, "Have fun and
go win, go to the playoffs."
Exactly. I don't know what you expect it to happen.
Win 11 games, please.
Exactly. Maybe it's all because their division's so bad, but still, like, you can't win with that. I don't care who you're playing.
They are ass.
They are not good. All right. And now, let me ask you, Justin. What are your thoughts on Tommy DeVito?
I don't want to talk about it. I know he won. I don't care that he won. It wasn't because of him.
No. I mean, he played okay. He had 191 yards on a touchdown.
So, that's decent for anyone else.
I'm not sure if I've told you guys this, but Tommy DeVito, he went to high school at Don Bosco High School, and Justin does not like anybody from the high school.
No. Don Bosco, the hatred for Don Bosco is a kind of wide range Jersey thing. The only people that don't hate Don Bosco are the people that go there. Everyone else does. I also think, here's the other thing, Tommy. You're a grown-ass man. You're 22 years old. Make your own dinner. Make your bed. Do your laundry. I've been getting that jammed into my skull since I was 9. And if I have to do it, you definitely have to do it, Tommy. I'm also not making $600,000 a year either, am I?
No.
Stupid thing.
But yeah, it's very fun.
And then his stereotypical, like, Italian, thing. Shut the fuck up, Tommy. Shut up, Tommy. I mean, Tommy DeVito is the prime example of somebody who did this. So here's what he did. He went to Ancestry.com. He found out that he was Italian. Like, his last name wasn't a dead giveaway, and made the country of Italy his entire personality.
Yeah, I have enjoyed this little Tommy DeVito roller coaster, I guess. You know, his family looks like something out of The Sopranos. You know, he's the most North Jersey Italian human I have ever seen. Just, you know, the build, the hair, the TD chain, just the way he talks, the way he moves, just everything. To me, it's kind of hilarious. Do I think it's kind of like a insanity that'll end very soon? Yeah. But it's kind of funny, but I figured I'd get your take on it.
He's not the franchise guy for them at all.
They need to draft somebody next year, but it's kind of funny.
Like, I think they're just completely overrating him. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
He lit up the Commanders, but I think I could light up that Commanders defense, and he played okay against New England.
Okay, these are fine games, but it's like, okay, Jordan Love played through for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns on Thanksgiving. And is still being called ass.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're gonna do that, and also that Patriots team is horrible. That
Brutal.
Patriots team sucks. If this was the Patriots 3 years ago, he doesn't win that game.
No,
I'm gonna say it right now. He doesn't win.
of
It
course
just
not.
doesn't happen.
Of course not.
I mean, and this is not because I hate Tommy DeVito. It's because I hate the Giants.
Speaking of the Patriots, first of all, good God, that team is awful. Like, who's sorry? Is it? I mean, they waived Will Greer. They waived Cunningham weeks ago. I mean, Zappy. Look, they both suck.
No, don't say my boy Taylor Zappi.
Like, who do you start going forward? Do you start Bailey Zappi as one? I mean, Mac Jones was the bench.
Bro, I
86.
love Bailey Zappi.
I mean, Mac Jones was the bench 86 different times for him. I mean, Mac looked awful. That second pick, I don't know what he was doing. He must have some sort of peripheral vision issue. Zappy wasn't great either.
He's gonna get the LASIK eye surgery. He's gonna do the Jameis
God.
Winston.
Zappy looked like, was he better? I mean, maybe. Both looked awful. Like, who starts now for New England?
Well, that's an Ashton question.
Right.
That's a firing squad question, which will be on Thursday.
Yep. Don't miss it.
That's definitely a question for him. But no, I think the next option is just get a quarterback.
I mean, yeah, after the year,
You need to fire.
They need a quarterback more than anybody.
They need a new quarterback, and it's Belichick's time to go.
It's
it. I
Step
mean,
away.
he really has. I know he wants to beat Shula. We all know he wants to beat Don Shula's record. Wins thing, but he's not going to do it. He's just not going to do it.
Not in New England.
He might end up killing his own career by doing this if he stays with New England right now.
It's gonna be a big knock on his legacy if they're gonna really look deep into what his record is without Tom Brady. It's gonna be like, dude, like you need it. It's been time.
Like you have not succeeded without anyone else other than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So no one knows where he's gonna go. No one knows if he's gonna get fired just yet. But they might also draft a quarterback and they'll say this is this is Drake May. Use him.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're getting fired. That's how it might end up being for him. But who knows? That's another thing that's just super up in the air as well.
Right. So last two games I think we're gonna cover. Something that I thought before we get to the primetime game, we'll go Bills Eagles. Eagles win a thrower 37-34 in overtime. So Josh Allen, he had the one pick. He's got 8 straight games with an interception. Bills were at 6-6, and they got a brutal schedule. They said they still got to play Kansas City and still another game against Miami. So if the Bills miss the playoffs, where do they go from there?
Okay, so let me start with one thing. Can I start with a quick story? Can I tell a story?
Absolutely.
Can I tell a story in your show? So I remember 2 years ago, we were in a class. I'm not going to say the name of it because this is a public podcast, but you will know exactly what class I'm talking about. We were in a class right after the Chiefs-Bills game, which was a phenomenal game.
Oh, yeah.
It went to overtime. Really, that was to me the best game of the year, without a doubt. That Bills-Chiefs game.
Oh, yeah.
So back and forth. So much fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And the game went to overtime. And the Chiefs won the coin flip. They elected to receive the ball, and they won on the opening drive for a touchdown. And the debate was between the class, which I will not name the class, but you know exactly what class I'm talking about. If the overtime rule should be changed, and people said yes because somebody's game, because the victory of somebody or somebody's season should not be determined on a coin flip.
Right.
I never, ever want to hear a Bills fan complain about overtime again.
Allen's 0-6 in overtime.
The past 2 overtimes were this season. First one was against the Jets. Second one was against the Eagles. You know who won the coin flip both times?
Josh Allen.
Buffalo. Buffalo won it both times. Both of which, when they had the opening drive, they didn't get it done.
Right.
The first one was a punt against the Jets, towards an incredible Xavier Gibson run in, which he basically hasn't done anything after that, by the way, but still. Yeah. It was just one great play, and that was it. And then this one, you have a field goal, and and then you let up one of the easiest read options I've ever seen. Like, you're not good. It's that simple. How many more times are the fans going to blame overtime?
Exactly.
You can't anymore. Play better.
Mm-hmm.
Play better defense. Step up. Go on. Do it. Like, and then as for the Bills, they're 6-6. Blow it up.
Yeah, it's
Blow
not
it
working.
all up. That team consists of more overrated people than the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not even kidding. Josh Allen, overrated. Stephon Diggs, overrated. Gabe Davis, overrated. Dawson Knox, overrated. Dalton Kincaid, overrated. Taron Johnson, overrated. Tre'Davious White, overrated. Sean McDermott,
Yes.
overrated.
He's
All of
not gonna
these
be in
guys,
much
there are
longer.
so many people on that team that are overrated. So many people on that team who, on paper, when they should be going to the Super Bowl, from the get-go, they don't.
Yeah.
The best player on that team is Von Miller,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even close. But Von Miller's also proven himself twice.
Right.
He's proven himself in 2 Super Bowls. He's a Hall of Famer, and
yeah.
it's not even close. He's an
Absolutely.
all-time great. But it's like, one guy can't do it all.
Exactly.
One guy can't do it all. Josh Allen, when are you going to stop?
Exactly.
When are you going to stop being the same way you were when you were 20?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You get on the Madden cover and you throw 8 picks over the past 8 games? Really, what is he? I don't even like the Bills that much.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a Jet fan and I have to not like the Bills because they're in the same division. But still, it's like 6-6 for this team is a failure.
Oh, by far.
Really. Okay, yeah, maybe they'll go on a 5-game win streak, go 11-6. Sure, but still, not even that's good enough.
And I doubt that.
13.
I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs for sure.
To me, 13-4 should be the worst they should be. That team.
That's probably their ceiling for me, but yeah, they should be much better than 6-6.
All right, so what do you have to say about this? I'm losing energy.
Well, I think the two main people to blame are probably you gotta start it with Josh Allen. So Allen, is he a bad quarterback? No. But the problem is, so he broke out 3 years ago. His first couple years he kind of struggled, was very erratic, kind of got a little tiny better, but still wasn't great. And then his third year he breaks out after bringing Stephon Diggs. He breaks out. The problem is he's not getting better. He's in this league, you need to continue to get better.
In anything in sport, in any sports league, you need to get better.
And he's not. In fact, he's probably gotten worse. Like the mistakes he was making in his first 2-3 years in the league, fast forward to his 6th or 7th or whatever it is, and he's still making them.
Yeah, the biggest issue with him is we know how great of an arm he has. Right. He has such a great arm, such a cannon. The problem is he doesn't know how to use it.
You're right.
He either horrendously overthrows his man,
mm-hmm.
or it lands right into the hands of the secondary.
Yeah, he's got a cannon.
And I know this is not what, and I know this is a completely different issue, but that's my concern with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is a great arm. There was one play that a lot of people were highlighting that Caleb Williams threw this moon ball to his receiver over the UCLA team. That's not going to work as much in the NFL.
No.
If your team has a great, let's say for example he goes to the Patriots. Mm-hmm. If you play against the Jets, that's not going to work. No. The sauce DJ Reed Whitehead secondary is not going to let that slide. But that's the exact same thing for Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. If Christian Gonzalez was playing, that's not going to work. No. Even against Jalen Ramsey, that's not going to work. It's simply not. Yeah. Against that Eagles secondary, that's definitely not going to work. No. With Slay and Bradbury back there, it's not going to work. 6-6 is not impressive, especially to the teams that they lost to. They lost to the Jets down Aaron Rodgers, and they were shaking up that game too because they just watched the guy completely turn their team around, fall in 4 seconds. Then you lose to the Patriots, And then there were a couple of other teams they lost to as well, but nonetheless, it's still not that good.
Yeah, so like he's still making the same mistake that he was making, in his second and third year in the league, which makes no sense to me. I don't know how he hasn't tried to fix that, why the coaching staff hasn't worked to try and fix that. The offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, already lost his job, and Sean McDermott is going to follow him out the door. He will not be here next year. I don't see a world where he is, unless they go on some sort of crazy run and they end up, sneaking into the playoffs. I don't think they're making the playoffs because I don't think they're beating the Chiefs.
I don't even think making the playoffs is good enough
Exactly.
at this point.
If they lose in the first round, do you keep him? I wouldn't.
This was Josh Allen's most opportune time to make the Super Bowl. Think about it. Who's in your way right now? The Patriots suck. Aaron Rodgers got hurt. The Jets suck. The Bills, the Dolphins might end up being the only threat, but even then, they're still beatable. If you just remember that Tua doesn't know how to throw anything other than a check down. That's all you basically have to do for him. And then Bengals, Joe Burrow's out for the season. The Ravens aren't going to go far. And the Kansas City Chiefs, none of their receivers outside of Rashee Rice know how to catch a football.
Valdez-Scantling, my God.
Yeah, Valdez-Scantling, Kadarius Toney, and then Travis Kelce has been having some issues with his health. This was their most opportune time to at least make a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they would have won, but I'm saying they should at least be in the conversation.
Yeah, and they're not.
And they're not.
Yeah, so. And to me, Stephon Diggs is not going to be on the team next year. I don't see a world where he is.
Okay, go. Leave. Good.
First of all, he doesn't want to be there. No one can convince me otherwise. And also, if you're the Bills, they're going to be in salary cap hell. They have to move somebody. I don't think you move Allen yet. Obviously you're not moving Von Miller. I don't think you can move Tre'Davious White because I don't think anyone wants his contract considering his injuries. And just, so it's kind of has to be Diggs, to be honest. I don't think you trade Mitch Marshall to Dion Dawkins because that would make an already not so great O-line worse. Your two best O-linemen, to trade them, that wouldn't make any sense. So Diggs, he's gonna be gone next year. There needs to be changes in Buffalo because this is an underperformance that's just not acceptable.
Yeah, where does Diggs even go? Who wants to deal with that? Who wants to deal with his brother sounding off on Twitter every time his brother loses?
Exactly.
So I can't. And that's one of the things I want to bring up as well because Trayvon Diggs, he tweeted out saying, the obvious. It was an obvious shot at Josh Allen. His imagery was pretty clear on that. Basically saying that Josh Allen wasn't anything until Stephon Diggs came there, and Stephon Diggs before he came there was only known for one catch.
Yeah.
So really, they made each other better. Let's face it, both of them have been great with each other. Both of them have really reached the best parts of their career.
Benefited from each other.
They've both benefited from each other, but they have one thing in common to where they can't go that extra mile.
Exactly.
They just cannot make it to that extra step. Think about it this way. Stephon Diggs' peak was an NFC championship, was an NFC championship. That was it. And then Josh Allen's peak was the AFC semifinals.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the Bills. Eagles improved to 10-1. And then the last thing we'll talk about is the Ravens beat the Chargers on Monday Night Football 20-10. When's Brandon Staley going to get fired? When?
Never.
Just as CM Punk does.
Never. He's never getting fired. I don't know. I think the thing that we had with Matt Canada, I think it might be that with
God.
If
he comes back for another year, that's outrageous.
Well, no, I think it might be that for the for that team as well. Like who's the owner of the Chargers?
The Spanos.
Yeah, the Spanos. Yeah,
Spanos family.
Yeah, either the Spanos family. No, either Brandon Staley is dating is dating one of the Spanoses, or they have so much, or he has so much dirt on them, just like you said with Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada.
Right.
But with that logic, that means Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada must have broken up. He must have something on them for him to stay. This is the only guy I've seen who's allowed to do yoga on the field and throw it back, bro. Bro is
That's
doing
right.
bro is doing PG twerking. Like, I can't believe it.
Oh my god.
I just couldn't believe. I just don't understand. But I think outside of Herbert, that entire team needs to be shopped.
Yeah,
Outside of
they're not very
Herbert,
good.
excuse me, outside of Herbert and Joey Bosa,
Yeah.
that entire team needs to be shopped.
Maybe Eckler.
No, Eckler can't stay healthy.
True.
That's the other thing. That Justin Herbert's entire unit is a blue medical tent. That's all it is. They always go there. They never just go to the sideline. They always go to the blue medical tent.
Exactly.
Every single play. They are never not healthy. And then Justin Herbert gets blamed for it.
Also,
Justin Herbert on any other team puts them to the Super Bowl. Like,
Oh,
could
yeah.
you imagine if Justin Herbert was on the Jets?
they'd win the division.
They would win the division, no problem. They have enough people. They have enough people who can stay healthy to do it.
Mhm.
But the Chargers, not so much.
Yeah, and I don't know what they were thinking drafting Quentin Johnson over Zay Flowers. Yikes! And Zay Flowers just picked them apart, and Quentin Johnson just absolutely sucks.
Well, a lot of guys did pass up on Zay Flowers, and
Yeah.
he ended up being a steal.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers is really good, but same thing with Tank Dell as well.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Justin, thank you for joining me.
Yep.
And until
Of course.
next time, so long. Have a great day.
See ya.